Sup, I'm bored. Let's make some art. I don't know what I'm gonna make yet. We're gonna find out together. It occurred to me that I haven't like drawn or painted something in a while, so I definitely want to go down a more 2D route when I don't know what to make. I also have looked at art prompts online. Those usually don't work for me. If the first thing I see doesn't immediately spark something, I just go down the list of like no, 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 no. Trying to combine stuff. Oh, that gets the gears going. I want to try and make something based on the last 3 pictures I took on my phone. Because yes, there is ways to avoid it, but also when you're doing art reference research online, you inevitably see some AI slop at least out of the corner of your eye, and I don't feel like doing that to my mental health on this fine day, you know? So we're drawing inspiration from my own personal real life, and we're gonna pick the last 3, I must say, eligible pictures. First couple on here are of my Halloween decor. I already got like the creative gears going to put those together. I don't want to like recycle that, so we're gonna leave that out. Oh, I got this bouquet for my birthday. Specifically, I really like these flowers, especially the pattern on the petals. I took a couple different pictures of that bouquet, so I'm only counting that as one subject, so to say. Oh, what's next? That's a video. I often take videos of like nature and stuff when I'm out for walks to potentially use in videos later. Fall, tree, nighttime, moon, that kind of thing. Alright, what's next? What's this? Oh, that's from when I went to the German Museum of Romanticism, which is attached to the Goethe house, which was the house, or more so the parents' home of Goethe, who very, very basically is to Germany what Shakespeare was to England. Kinda, as in one of the most influential writers and poets. I just thought the like architecture and furniture of the time was really interesting to look at. And this is just like where I screenshotted opening hours. So the flowers, a tree in the moonlight, and an old house, essentially. To draw inspiration from, that's interesting. Hardest to sort of pin down is probably gonna be the house, because there's so many parts you could draw inspiration from. There's so many elements. Actually, hang on. I got a flyer when I was there, so maybe it's worth looking at that again. Oh, fancy chandeliers. Yeah, I've had enough of chandeliers for a while, so maybe not. Pool wallpaper. Oh, the kitchen was really interesting. But I guess one sort of recurring element that I really liked, which is very basic now looking at the rest of it, were the curtains. I am a sucker for a sheer white curtain that, you know, does this. I mean, we got like the nature element. Curtains usually come with windows, so maybe we could look out of a window into nature. And I could like do the tree or some sort of plant. Would it be nighttime? And what about the bouquet? That could just be the color palette. But I really like the pattern. Give the gears some time to turn, and maybe do some little pre-sketches, and then we'll see where we'll end up. Right. Window as a frame with a curtain up top. Not gonna draw that too far down. I think this pen is leaving me this very moment. So we want the scene outside the window to be sort of the main focus, I guess. We don't want the curtain to obstruct the window too much. Maybe I'm just gonna go for this one, the scene outside. I don't want it to be night, actually. So what else am I gonna take from that video one? I could put the petals from the flower bouquet on the tree, just like make up a magical tree, why not? Some magical realism, never hurt no one. Dusky sort of sky light mood situation where you can already see the moon, because you know that happens sometimes. It's not dark, but you can see the moon already. Yeah, you know what, I like that idea. Let's go with that. I'm gonna have to think about the details some more, and then also what I'm gonna paint that with. This is what I've got so far. To fiddle around a bit more probably with how much I'm doing at the top and bottom, how much context I'm gonna give this window. I'm probably also not gonna do any of the bars across or any of the grid on the window. I just want the view to be unobstructed. Also, I had the idea, and I think I like it, to sort of use different mediums and techniques for the window inside part and the outside part to create a further distinction there. You know, I'm realizing that talking about what's going on in my head at this stage kind of makes me sound like an art critic. Trying to articulate to other people all the thoughts and feelings behind it, kind of have to come up with something, otherwise there wouldn't be a video to be made out of this. But let's be reasonable, and let me tell you, and I'm probably speaking for a lot of artists throughout history, I do a lot of things because I fucking feel like it. The curtains are not white to symbolize purity, you know? I just had to make that clear for my own personal sake. Line art for the outside bit, some fine liners, and just do black outlines for the window and the curtain. And then whatever colorful thing we feel like we're gonna do just inside the window thing. Contrast is one of my favorite things. It's the next morning, and that is a good time to assess if I like where this is going. Always the best time to do it, for me anyways. Just like coming in, seeing it with fresh eyes, maybe having forgotten about where exactly I left off. Gotta say, doing the folds and ruffles of the curtains, really nice change of pace. It's a more, you know, like an organic, it just kind of flows. Just a couple more lines to finish the lower part of the curtain, and then we can move on. I've decided to go with watercolor for that, at least for like the background, and then I'll probably go in with colored pencils at some point. I haven't used watercolor in a while, so I'm also looking forward to that part. Some people buy the fancy watercolor and make their own palettes when they grow up. I'm still very much winging it with the 24 set that my grandmother got me for my 12th birthday. Okay, I'm done with the outside frame, and I've done the very satisfying step of erasing the pencil sketch. Time to sort out what we're gonna do about that tree. I wanna like slap the petals from that bouquet just on there as leaves. The flowers also have this like fluffy blue thing in the middle, so I thought about, I don't know, somehow attaching those to the tree as well. I mean, I guess if you're making up a fantastical tree, there's surprisingly a lot of ways you could take this. Do the petals like come in pairs, or are they sort of just randomly on there? Do they hang down or stand up? I'll have to think about that some more. But I was looking for a colored pencil, maybe like a pink or a purple, to sketch the tree with, because of what I'm planning to do for like the background watercolor part. I don't have to worry about the sketch showing through too much. While I was doing that, I came across these crayons that honestly I forgot I had, on the topic of still winging it with 12-year-old me's art equipment, you know? I think because I'm doing like the daytime thing and you can only see like a very pale version of the moon usually during that. I thought about doing the age-old trick of just pre-drawing the moon with the white crayon and then just going over that with the watercolor. That could be an interesting way to do it.
Okay, so they do their thing, they rock the upside down, they lure the bats away, and then they try to escape before the morning sets.
For a short and sweet project, I think it's pretty good and I had fun with the techniques mostly. In general, it's pretty weird for me to draw on camera. I don't have that when I'm doing like any other creative thing. I really like to sort of get into the zone and not, you know, set up the camera. I don't know, just knowing that I'm making a video out of it. Like a mixture of feeling like somebody's watching you sleep and, you know, having a teacher stand over your shoulder during an exam. So I don't think me drawing something on camera is gonna be a regular occurrence. You can see I did put it in a frame because that helps every art piece. Pro tip, if you're unsure of what you've made, or I don't know, maybe your kid is really untalented but you still want to hang their stuff, put it in like one of those big fuck off gold swirly museum frames. You're gonna elevate it, I promise. I didn't have one of the big fuck off ones, but you know, this does the trick to an extent because I also thought it might help with the warping of the paper, which sure it does to an extent. This isn't technically watercolor paper. It says it's fit for watercolor pencils, just the thickest one I had on hand, so. The moon thing worked out quite well, probably the best tree I've ever made, because I do have a tendency to do too much there. And at the end, it's sort of all convoluted, but I really like where I ended up with these. I also painted a base of watercolor and then went in with colored pencils. I pivoted from my original idea for the leaves or petals on here. The pattern on the petals was sort of what I chose as my inspiration. So I didn't just then want to draw the exact petal, like as a whole, you know? And these little lines on there, that's the shape that I chose to give these leaves. And the blue, purplish, fuzzy things in the middle, I also decided to stick on there in some places for some contrast and just an extra color. I would never have painted or drawn something like this probably had I not, you know, tried to combine the last 3 pictures I took on my phone. Now it did take 4 days in boring time, sure, but let's get to the fun measurements, shall we? Watch the video on Stranger Things Season 4 by Kath Clark. Listen to some Il Nino and Modern Day Distraction by Jake Buck, because as much as rage and anger is definitely my favorite feeling to be expressed in music, this was at times a bit too whimsical for my brain at the time to be accompanied by somebody screaming in my ear, so instead I opted for one video by Rationality Rules and Lexi aka Newly Nova talking about her fall reads. If you've watched my last video, you probably know that I was horribly stressed, and this was a very, very, very nice change of pace. And I will see you when I'm done with my next project. Where it falls on the intensity scale, to be determined. Rock on or whatever. Bye.